the solution. Different kind. Now, you see type of different help with supply time. Similar to that point, it is time.
Okay, so this will be the outline for today's learning session. We'll have an introduction of team members on the call, our participants for 10 minutes. Then we would have this welcome remarks delivered by the CEO of Impact Investing Ghana. And then we'll also have the rep from the the RISA Fund also give us a 5 minutes remarks. And then we'll move into the presentation by Dr. Isaac Yeboah, who's the consultant on the knowledge translation. And he also works at the Institute of Work, Employment and Society from the University of Professional Studies, Accra, and then we'll open the floor for Q&A, and then we'll have the feedback from you based on the presentation, and then I'll come in with a summary and then the next steps. And so in no particular order, would want us to briefly introduce ourselves. We are doing this within the next 8 minutes, so you'd want to be brief. And then the essence of this is to know who is on this call and then to explore areas of collaboration. And so in no particular order, I would want to call on Laila Gifty Akita, if she can introduce herself, her name, the place of work, and then any project that she's working on. If Laila is not ready, then I'll call on Audrey Agbeve to kindly introduce herself. Okay, so if they're not ready, whoever is ready on the call can introduce themselves.
All right, so I'll go first.
Okay.
So I'm Samuel Badu Aji, an MPhil final year student, University of Cape Coast. Yes, and I'm working on a research agronomic performance of lettuce in different growing media. Yeah, so I joined the program to learn a few things, hopefully, and to gain more insight into research. Yeah, thank you.
All right, sure. Thank you very much. I also see Seth Kote on the call. So Seth, if you could please introduce yourself.
Hello, good morning. My name is Seth Kote. I'm a PhD student at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, working in the DIPA lab. I am working on blockchain and interoperability between heterogeneous blockchains. My major research areas are in blockchain security. I'm also interested in AI as well. That's it for me.
All right, sure. Thank you very much. Okay. So I see Amma Frempoma Odro on the call. If you could please introduce yourself.
Okay, so this is Amma. I'm from Sentinel Foods. We are a research and development company. I'm listening in to see how this is done.
Hello. Okay.
I'm here with Susan.
Okay. All right. Sure. Thank you very much. So I
Hello.
also see. Hello. Sorry.
Yeah, hello. Hey, my name is Eumi Paul Sosu. I come from Benin. PhD student in the University of Abomey-Calavi. I'm working on biogeochemistry and benthic ecology in estuary and estuary environments in climate change context. Thank you very much.
Okay, sure. Thank you very much. I also see Enyam Money on the call. So Enyam,
okay.
Kindly introduce yourself.
Hi, I don't know if it's Enya Money. Not right. My internet seems to be breaking up. I don't know if you can still hear me. Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you now.
All right, good. So my name is Enya Moni from the University of Cape Coast. I'm an optometrist and a vision scientist, and I'm interested in how the eye works and what things also make it not work properly. So I'm also here to join and learn a bit more about translating my research into something that's more impactful. Thank you.
All right, sure. Thank you very much. I see Marilyn. I see you yourself on the call, so if you can kindly introduce yourself, Marilyn. Okay, so whilst we wait for her, I see Dr. Edward Ataboche. I'm on the call. Kindly introduce yourself, sir.
All right. Okay. Good morning. My name is Edward Atabuchi. A lecturer and vice dean of UPSA, Faculty of Accounting and Finance. I'm with the iWest team on this presentation. Thank you.
All right, sure. Thank you very much. I see Dr. Andrew Owusu also on the call. So kindly introduce yourself, sir.
Hi, good morning. I'm Andrew Swansa, School of Optometry and Vision Science, University of Cape Coast. My group is currently working on solutions to diagnostic and management issues pertaining particularly to glaucoma and other ocular diseases in Ghana. And I'm here also to learn strategies in how to translate my work into industry relevant solutions to some of these problems. Yeah.
All right, sure. Thank you. I also see Dorothy Siamafo. So Dorothy, if you could please introduce yourself.
All right. My name is Dorothy Siamafo. I'm also with the iWest team. iWest engages in research, consultancy, and advocacy in the areas of work, employment, and society. I'm here to support the presenter. Thank you.
All right, sure. I also see Frida Osai-Sefa on the call. Frida, so if you could please introduce yourself.
Yes, please. I'm Frida Osei-Sefa. I graduated from the University of Cape Coast, did my PhD in education psychology. Not working at the moment, but writing out articles from my thesis on parent-adolescent relationship and peer pressure as predictors of academic self-concept. So basically, that is what I'm doing, and I'm eager to learn how to translate my findings into something practical for the country, possibly.
All right. So I see on the call Josephine. And so Josephine, if you could please introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. My name is Josephine Brown. I work with IIG in the communications department. Thank you.
All right. Then I also see Albert Kakari on the call. Albert, if you could please introduce yourself. All right. So we call in. So I see Bennett on the call. So Bennett, kindly introduce yourself.
Hello, good morning. My name is Bennett. I'm a faculty at the Department of Nutrition and Food Science, University of Ghana. So I got interested in this event because I realized that we have a lot of food and nutrition problems around, and we do quite some amount of research. And how do we translate some of these research into helping us solve some of the food and nutrition security programs or problems that or challenges that we have around?
All right. So thank you very much. So in want of time, given progress we've made, we want to zoom straight to the next phase of the session. So I would want to call on Yao Osei Tutu to give us the welcome remarks. And so Yao, respectfully, kindly give us the welcome remarks.
Thank you very much, Julius. Just took me a while there to unmute. So good morning to everyone. And it's a privilege. Does my camera have to be on?
We may want to see your beautiful face. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much, Julius. So good morning to everyone and welcome to the GRIC Learning Workshop. My name is Yao Brakun Ositutu. I'm Strategic Partnerships Manager at Impact Invest in Ghana. GRIC is all about bridging the gap between research and then industry. And GRIC has managed to do this successfully so far through a series of engagements, through a collaborative, through trainings, through capacity building, to be able to figure out how to commercialize our research, to be able to move all these beautiful research findings from our labs, from our academic institutions into the business community and to the market where they belong so that we can have the uptick to yield the desired impact. Today's workshop is about translation of knowledge into a form that is industry friendly. And I think just a couple of days ago, I was joking with Julius and my boss, Amma, that imagine that you went to a restaurant and then you had to choose from a menu, and on the menu, you had things like, Dioscora alata, and Oryza sativa, and Theobroma cacao and things like that in a menu, and you had to pick from your food. I believe many of us will not know what to even choose and where to even start from. And that is the challenge that confronts many of us in industry and businesses and SMEs and those who are outside the scientific community and academic community. Many of the works that are published, the research findings, the output is not even accessible. And where it is accessible, when they read it, we can't even understand anything. So we've had a couple of pioneering engagements in that area where we have translated research findings. I know we've had something on tiger nuts, and we've had something on carrot juice, etc. And we've seen the interest that arises from SMEs, from industry, when they are able to appreciate what exactly is in, what value is in the research output that has been done. So we are happy to see you all on board. We are happy you've been able to make the time, and we look forward to a fruitful workshop where we all pick some key learnings and then, that will help us to be able to achieve more impact. So these are the comments and these are the inputs that I have. Julius, thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much. And so the reason why Yao is on the call is he's a strategic partnerships manager, and so given this engagement that we are working to build a relationship between researchers and industry, he is in a better informed position to advise how we proceed. And so for us, it doesn't end here. Once you acquire the knowledge, we also want to put that into action and help you to connect the rightful end user of the knowledge that you have. And so we want to move to the next person to deliver the remarks for us is in the person of Gameli Ajaho. He's a country technical lead for the Sorisa Fund. And so Gameli, please share your brief remarks with us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Julius. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, please, I can hear you.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's wonderful to join you for today's workshop, which is on knowledge translation. And just to share a little bit about the RISA Fund. RISA stands for Research and Innovation Systems for Africa, which is a UK government program aimed at supporting not only strengthening of the research ecosystem, but also to advance innovation in Africa. And a key objective is to build bridges between research and innovation. So that's where the work of the Ghana Research and Industry Collaborative comes in, because it's all about creating the platform and an enabling environment that allows research and industry to collaborate, which will lead to viable outcomes towards Ghana's socioeconomic development. I think that today's workshop, which is on knowledge translation, is very important in that spirit. You know, knowledge, exchange of knowledge doesn't only go in one direction. There's value in researchers sharing their findings and how to implement their findings with industry. Industry also helps research to better understand problems that are relevant to society, and then collectively they work together to address it. There's a whole sociology and communication and psychology around translating knowledge. So I hope that today's workshop will really help us to gain not only the understanding, but the resolve to practice some of the things that we learned from today's workshop. I'm very excited to hear from IIGH already that they are not only keen on enabling this skill within the ecosystem, but to go above and beyond to create a platform for research and industry to actually collaborate and transfer knowledge, insights, etc. That would then go on to become highly used products and services within our market. So finally, I would like to just encourage everyone to take full advantage of today's workshop and not only learn the insights, but as I already indicated, be resolved to actually implement what you've learned. And I hope that in the near future, you would come back to share experiences of the experiences as in like the battles in the field, as it were, how you successfully manage to translate the research outcome or knowledge into the industry. Thank you very much, and I hope you have a wonderful workshop.
Thank you very much, Gameli, for sharing that. Also, let me share my screen so you get to see my face. Oh, sorry, I think my camera has an issue. So we want to move straight to the next part of the presentation or the workshop. So we have Dr. Isaac Yeboah, who is the consulting lead for this workshop that we are having in terms of the topic. And so, Doc, please, I'll pass on the baton to you so you could just walk us through your presentation. Thank you. Please, you are muted, and so.
All right, thank you. So sorry. So thank you so much, and good morning to everyone. It's great to have you this morning on our knowledge translation workshop. So as indicated earlier, I'm Isaac Yeboah, and I'm a lead of a consulting team from the Institute of Work, Employment and Society. I was from University of Professional Studies, Accra, UPSA. So I'll lead in walking you through our morning discussion, right? Because of bandwidth issues, I may want to put off my video in order not to have any issues with the network and all that. So allow me to do that. But this is my face, right? So we have greetings from IWEX. So as I indicated earlier, I'm not the only person. There's a team of experts in the area of research, right from Dr. Merina Naisel, Dr. Edward Atabuche, Dr. Michael Nixon, Miss Erica Mamle Osai, Miss Hilda Pia, Mr. Ransford, and Miss Dorothy. So there is a team, and we bring you all greetings from IWEX UPSA. And this will be our outline for our presentation this morning. We want to know what really is knowledge translation. the different types of knowledge translation we have. There are certain key elements within the definition of knowledge translation, and we want to find out. One of it, which is very key, has to do with the knowledge users. And then there are also some non-traditional examples of knowledge translation. We may also want to find out what it is about and how do we align our knowledge translation strategy to our target audience. Then we have some resources I may want to also introduce to you. Okay, so to those who just joined, I am Isaac Yebua from the Institute of Work, Employment and Society of University of Professional Studies, Accra, and I'll be walking you through our morning learning workshop on knowledge translation. Right, so for this learning activity, these are objectives. As we started, there were a lot of people who have introduced themselves, and I could see we really fit in the different the different disciplines, okay, works of discipline. We have those from the industry. There are some researchers, academics, some policymakers and government officials, students. I mean, I heard of one person who is done with the MPhil and trying to get publications from the thesis. That is fantastic. All right, so we have all these people, and our learning objective this morning seeks to meet your needs or your expectations for this morning. So for the industry professionals, we want to guide you in how to leverage research output for innovation and commercial applications. For those in academia, we want to equip you with practical knowledge translation techniques so you are able to have access and impact of your research. And for policymakers and government officials who are part of us, how do we use research, the findings from research, for informed policy, development, and decision-making? And then to those students also who are part of us, those NGO representatives as well, we want to, at the end of this learning workshop, we should be able to at least facilitate some research application, collaboration, and most especially societal impact. Now, as we begin, this is the big problem. The big problem is that from even academia, you go to our libraries, we have students who have conducted several research. You could imagine, let's take from even the year 2000 till now, 24 years. Lot of research findings are on our shelves. The question we ask ourselves, what are we doing with all these research findings? It could only not be in academia where you go to our libraries, you have this, but even at your workplace. Probably some students came to your workplace, did some internship, did some small bit of research afterwards, combined it in your shell. What are we doing with all these research findings? That's a question that comes to mind. Do people really know what is in this finding, what is in this research that you have done? And that is a big problem. And by knowledge translation, we also want to know how this research result will feed into policy and practice. Now, there's this definition being given by the Canadian Institute of Health Research that is quite long, very long. It says the exchange, synthesis, ethically sound application of knowledge within a complex system of interaction among researchers and users. And it continues. But these are key terminologies or key terms that I think is going to help us this morning. I want to emphasize on it and then look at how best, with all the knowledge we have acquired over the years as a result of research we've conducted, how we will be able to make good use of these research results, and how do we make good use of it when we make sure deliberately, intentionally, get these results into policy and practice, right? So from this definition, we have certain key terms we want to know: synthesis, dissemination, exchange, ethically sound application, knowledge users. Who is a knowledge user? From this definition, from the Canadian Institute of Health. Now, the knowledge user, they are individuals or groups who are going to use your research results to make informed decisions. For example, about health policies, programs, or practices. So wherever that you find yourself, irrespective of the discipline, the research you are conducting with results, they tend to be knowledge, right? We do not have, even if we do have idea about, it is knowledge, something new you are coming out with. But what you are bringing out, there are individuals or groups who will be able to use your results to make informed decisions. But then, and some examples of these individuals who need it, can talk of practitioners like doctors, nurses, social workers, etc., policy makers, educators, healthcare administrators, community leaders, media outlets, decision makers, private sector organizations. So these people are the knowledge users. They will use your research to make informed decisions. Okay? These are the terms, okay, within the definition of the knowledge translation. Can we move? One aspect of it has to do with what we call the synthesis. So by synthesis, we try to mean you find different research findings, okay, individual research findings, and you want to put it within a broader context. Now, where can we find some of these individual research findings? It could be in the form of a systematic reviews, meta-analysis, some expert panel. We have some workshop where some expert panels gives out information, knowledge on some phenomena. It could be a qualitative or quantitative result, right? And we try to synthesize, we try to make meanings from these individual results that we generate. An example is this. When you look at poverty, the term poverty, the concept poverty, there are several papers or several ideas, knowledge about the term poverty, which may try to, some say poverty is spiritual, others say poverty is economical. Okay, so when you read these different individual studies, giving these different definitions or understanding of poverty, when you are synthesizing, what you do is that you bring all these individual studies together within a larger body. So here, then we can say poverty is multidimensional because of the different individual perspective that individuals have. So that is one aspect of knowledge translation. Next. Then dissemination. By dissemination, you need to identify the appropriate audience. Okay, and when we identify the appropriate audience, you tailor your message and medium to this audience. So your study you want to conduct about, I heard someone conducted a study more on sexual reproductive health and its impact on academic performance. So then with that kind of study, you ask yourself, you need to identify the appropriate audience for this study. Then when you are done, you tailor your message to this audience because they will need, so these students becomes your academic, your knowledge user, right? So by knowledge translation, identify this audience, then your message should be to them. I know at a very higher level MPhil, when we are speaking to these students, probably adolescent, this is not where you are going to use your quantitative jargons, this 7 times more likely to know, they will not be able to understand. What do you mean? What do you mean? So tailor your message to this audience where it makes a lot of meaning to them. Now, you also need to engage, as I said, you need to engage your knowledge users. So these students, from the onset, you have to engage them. You can engage them having a dissemination plan, it could be you want to engage them probably through the media. Okay, and by media, it means you really know that these people really listen to it could be the traditional source of media so much well that you may want to engage them. The next. So you have your knowledge dissemination plan. After my results, the results you are getting, because now note that we do not want your research findings always to be in our libraries and what have you. Okay, but we want it to get to the knowledge users. So you need to get a dissemination plan. The first one is goal. What is the goal of your research? Is this to raise awareness or to promote certain kind of action? Of late, there's a lot of awareness on breast cancer. That is the goal, okay? And from the awareness, gathered from the awareness, you want to translate into practice. Then the most especially is the knowledge user audience, very important. Who are the people going to benefit from your research? Who? The rules, okay? Then the strategies, what strategies are you going to use? These are the dissemination plan. So whatever study you are into, you need to get this plan, the strategy. So diffusion, by diffusion, we mean let it happen. How do you want it to happen? It could be through publications, through conferences. Dissemination, that is helping it happen. And this is where we have knowledge exchange workshop. You do a workshop where you share your findings with the public. You can get expertise to help deliver on your strategies. Of late, there are several mediums that we can share our research results, and you need them. You also need resources to show that your knowledge translation activities can be delivered, right? So here you can talk of the HR, the human resource. How do you get access to these individuals? If your work, your study is on the adolescents, you know probably the media platform where you are going to get most of these adolescents. If they have a WhatsApp group, you can get them through that. If they have an organization they mostly join, you get them through that. So these are the knowledge dissemination plan. Next. Then we have exchange, where you have that interaction, very important within that definition, where you have the interaction between the knowledge user and you, the researcher. So here we have that kind of mutual learning. And with that exchange too, it should be on the mindset of collaborative problem solving between researchers and decision makers. So one of my advice to students when I teach them is that, you see, the starting point of research is getting a research problem. When you have your internships at any organization, identify a research problem. Talk to them. Okay, there's a research problem I have identified. And I think we can do this kind of research to get lots of insights into it to solve that kind of problem. So there's always that kind of exchange, okay, between you, the researcher, as well as with the decision maker. So the management of wherever you find yourself. Next. Then ethically sound application. Okay, we can move to the next slide. Right. Now, talking about all these things is quite obvious. There'll be some knowledge translation problems. One of it has to do with access, the cost of your users getting access to this information. Okay. Another thing we can also talk about has to do with the knowledge incompatibility. When you are not consistent with the needs with your user needs. So it is always important to get them right from the onset, right from the beginning of your research. You get them involved. Next. So basically, what we are getting from what knowledge translation is that is the bridge that connects research and policy, practice, and people. We can also say that is the process of getting your research results into policy and practice. So here we have this cycle, the research process on one hand, and then the outputs. Okay, so one of our outputs would be at the end, you have journal articles, you have conference papers, you have books, you have reports, and what have you, right? But then we ask ourselves, these information you have here, is it influencing policy and practice? And we should know that getting research outputs such as conference, report, papers, and what have you are also one bit of it. That is the diffusion process of it. Right. Next. So then we can say in simple terms that knowledge translation is when we get research into the hands of people who can use it. And there are two phases or two types of effective knowledge translation. We have the integrated knowledge translation and then the end of project knowledge translation. And both types require a dissemination plan, which we've talked about earlier, in order for you to share the results of your project you are doing with interested knowledge users. Next. Why is knowledge translation important? We have said that knowledge translation is when the results you are getting, you are giving it to people or you are giving to those who make use of it. In other terms, the process of you getting the results into policy and practice. Now, it is important because this is an example cited within those in health research that health systems fail to use evidence optimally, and this results in inefficiencies. So when our studies, the results we are doing, we do not get the right knowledge users to share with them, okay? And when you do that, the health systems fail. So whatever system we have, it fails because we are not making good use of research, or these systems do not even have an idea of some of the things we've conducted over the years. And studies have indicated that adults receive less than 55% of recommended care. Why is it the case? Because these knowledge users do not know most of these studies, the findings coming out, emanating from these studies that we've conducted over the years. And knowledge translation is the method we should know for closing the knowledge to action gap. It is only possible through knowledge translation. So when you do your research without it getting to the knowledge users, I'm sorry, then there is no essence of your research. Our research should always get to the knowledge users. Next. Now, I want to emphasize on these two great methods. The first one is the end of project knowledge translation method. So this is where here we have by diffusion. Through conference presentations, we want others to know what you've done, peer review journal publications, we want others to workshop, you get it on a website, podcast, media, the webness, and all that. This is the end of project translation, some of the methods we use. Next. Now, and these are some of the activities of the end of project knowledge translation, as I've indicated here. So the first one, we talk of diffusion, all these methods. Then dissemination, where you have a knowledge exchange workshop. And when you have the knowledge exchange workshop, your findings, the audience that you are presenting your research to is very, very important, very critical, because you need to tailor your message about your findings to a specific audience. And as I said, you cannot use your template. So assuming you had a research, and this research you did has to do with market women, you try to get them in the workshop and then do your presentation. You're talking about some of these technical jargons, which to them does not make any meaning. These people, they are less likely, they are known. Get it to them, tailor the message to their level. What does good hygiene practice mean to them, to their health? What does it mean to customers who will be patronizing their products, right? Then the other thing has to do with implementation. Mostly, a kind of research that you do, it ends with the diffusion level. But after diffusion, there is dissemination. After the dissemination is when you get to know your audience. Then your findings, you present to them, you let them know. And then there is implementation. Are they implementing the outcome of your studies? That is making it happen. And this could be done through an active and systematic process. Okay, you try to, this same audience, you follow up on them, how they are making good use of your research and even the outcome. If it's not possible, they are not making good use of your research and findings, you need to identify and overcome barriers. But in all, you have to encourage the adoption of the research, right? So you make sure you go through these three phases: the diffusion, dissemination, and implementation. Next. Then another method, the second type, which is very critical, okay, and that is, I would say, the norm now we should use, has to deal with the integrated knowledge translation project. And with the integrated knowledge translation, you demonstrate established relationship with participating users. You specify how knowledge user will involve. So right from even the conceptualization of your research, you engage these knowledge users. Some could even give you ideas on some questions they want you to ask. So if your research is about a certain kind of market, so marketing of product, of course, that marketer, you need that person is a knowledge user of what you are doing. So from the conceptualization of your research, you need to engage this individual in developing research questions. You know, when you do that, you are getting their buy-in in what you are doing, all right? So you develop even research questions with this individual, with the integrated, okay, the knowledge, because the study you are conducting, they will be using the findings. Okay, so it wouldn't be, I'm done with my finding, my research, you didn't consult this person in any of your process, but then this is the result, use it. How it's very difficult in that way. But right from the conceptualization, go to them, seek their input in the study you want to conduct. You bought their buy-in, and they will see this study as the finding from this study as their own. So integrated knowledge translation project involves all these kind of process, from developing the research question through to identifying audience for dissemination. Next. So with a knowledge translation, in order for you to increase your impact on decision, especially to your knowledge users, we advise you go through this process. One, you inform, you provide your knowledge users. Okay, so this is right before you start your research. Inform them that you provide them with information. To consult, it means that you are obtaining feedback from your knowledge users. And then to involve, we mean you are working with the knowledge users, okay, to develop alternatives. You collaborate, partner in each aspect of decision making, and then to empower is to decide. So in order for you to increase the impact on decisions, you engage the knowledge users in all this. So if these are decision makers, the knowledge user could be a decision maker. Engage the person right from the onset, what we intend to do, right? Get the person's buy-in and treat it as his or her own. Next slide. Then we also have the non-traditional knowledge translation. You need to first, as important, you engage knowledge users early, and then you discuss the potential knowledge translation product that will be coming from your research. And the most important thing we also have to be very mindful of has to do with the budget. Can you access research is now I would say expensive, of course, depending on the kind of research you want to conduct. So that is why you need to engage your knowledge users from the onset to know, okay, I'm doing this study for this company. All right. Budget, can you access money, financial resources from this organization? You ask your knowledge user how they access funding for their work, because as part of you engaging your knowledge user, you need to go present the knowledge user with a proposal, and you look out for all these things, all right? You connect also with relevant specialists. You may need other people in your research you are conducting. Some specialists, probably you are qualitatively inclined, but there is a study that is quite quantitatively inclined. You can connect with some relevant specialists in the area of the quantitative research. Some are willing to provide you that kind of service free of charge, and as such, you need to engage such individuals. Again, you need to also collaborate with your university art or computer science, right? Probably it involves some comms, artwork, some flyers, what have you. Engage them and to see how best they can be of support and help to you. Next. Right. So we want to have some few interactions here and there before we bring our learning this morning to a close. So next slide. So I want to know from you individually, some are conducting research into some areas, others too probably intend to do that. You can bring what you are doing here on board. Let us all discuss. We want to first of all identify the target audience for our research we are conducting. Now, so I'm asking, you can share with maybe from, let's say, 5 individuals, right? Because of time, for time purposes, 5 individuals. When you come in, what you are doing, I remember, I didn't keep the name, but there was a student who is into some productive health and academic performance. So we such a student asking you who needs to know about your findings. There was this research and development company. So whatever research you are involved in, who needs to know about your findings and who will be impacted by your research, and how can the findings be used? You know that, can you share with us? I just need about 5 individuals, then we'll be fine. Then we move to the next one. Well, let me say 2 because there are other questions you need to ask us because of time too. Yes. Can anyone give it a try? Anyone can try, give it a try. what you are doing. We need to identify our target audience for our finding. Yeah, Nicholas.
Hello.
Yeah, Nicholas, we are listening.
Hello.
Yeah, Nicholas, I can hear you.
Yeah, okay. Good morning to everyone. Thank you for a wonderful presentation. So I'm Nicholas. I'm from Gethsemane AI Robotics. They are into research and development in preparing Ghana and Africa for AI adoption. So basically, there's a current project that we are doing on the energy efficiency. In Ghana. We are using how we can use AI and IoT and data science to improve on energy efficiency in Ghana. And by extension, scale it up to Africa. So it is ongoing research that we are doing. We are not dying.
Okay. So who needs to know about your findings, the research you are conducting?
Please, can you come again?
I said, who needs to know about your research findings?
Okay. So our major stakeholders, we are looking at policymakers, government, and students, because we want to, what we are doing is we want to do a very detailed collaborative stakeholder engagement, because the method we are using is design thinking. And at the end, you want to then come out with an enterprise solution that will be able to help us to drive or trace energy efficiency towards this global discussion on energy transition with dynamics. Yeah. So students, policymakers, companies, technology people, and all those, yeah.
All right, fantastic. You are doing something great. But I want to know from the beginning, from these knowledge users, were they engaged? Were they involved?
Yes, please. So first thing that we, as part of, because we are applying design thinking, for now, most of the things we are doing now is mostly on stakeholder engagement. So we have, based on the abstract and other things, we have sent letters to some institutions and some institutions on what we are doing, and we want to, as key stakeholders. So for instance, because it's an energy sector project, a non-profit like African Center for Energy Policy is one of the people we are working on and engaging with them to do this research. Then Ghana Energy Commission, and then we are also trying to involve a lot of students in this. So we want to, at the end, look at their perspective, look at the existing gaps in energy efficiency monitoring in Ghana. Then based on that, what are their current problems, so that we can fine-tune our research to be able to address that, and how AI can help them to better manage, improve on energy efficiency in Ghana. So that is what we are doing. So for now, we are very on the let me say, the stakeholder engagement. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Nicholas, for sharing this with us. Well, so let's move to the next slide and see the other. Now, determine what they need to know. So in the dissemination of your results, you need to determine what they really need to know. Well, you need to also get to know your knowledge users, talk to them, as Nicholas has shared. Some of the knowledge users, yes, they do know, okay, what it's really about. And then who to approach. Nicholas has just made explanation to us, the kind of individuals that they have approached, all right? And so, yes, next. Then very key is how you organize your message. Okay, you have to provide key points or findings early. When you are done with your study, you need to provide the findings of your study to your knowledge users. Very important. And it should be, the message should be tailored towards them using a medium that is very accessible to these individuals, or to these knowledge users. The next. Well, so here, yes, okay, right. So here I'll give it up to any questions, discussions, and questions we can find before we summarize everything. So this open up for discussions and then questions on our presentation so far. Any question?
Hello.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah, my name is Mary from the
Right.
National Population Council.
Right.
I wanted to find out if you sponsor projects, for research.
Okay, so I'm a consultant. So this one, Julius and Steve,
Yeah,
this question is
it's
for
for
you.
Julius, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
We would want to take a round of questions and then we'll
And okay, so let me be specific with this one, Julius. We are into reproductive health issues. We advise the government on reproductive health issues. So I just want to find out if he should, indicate the areas that they sponsor for research. They sponsor, and then we'll know if we fall into that category. We'll also, come for something. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we'd want to allow our members to also share their questions with us based on the presentation done by Dr. Yeboah.
Hello.
Yes, so Samuel Bidweje's hand is up. Samuel, you can ask the question.
Yes, thank you very much for this insightful presentation. Yeah, so my question is that, just like your objective was to help to translate the knowledge, and this knowledge you are transferring is supposed to affect even government and policymakers. I want to ask, how is how are you transferring the knowledge to the government? Because when you come to the academic institution, majority of the research that has been done, sometimes without the aid of, even when the government knows, and sometimes when they are funded, without their aid, it's very difficult to transfer some of the knowledge. For example, when you come to the the School of Agriculture, they do a lot of research that farmers should get to know about the research. But when you look at the funding, neither the school doesn't have that capacity to do that kind of funding. So how is this insightful knowledge given to government? Are you writing to government to train a certain sector that can help the government to sort out which research they should go into, which research they should fund, and all that, in order for them to pay attention to those who are doing the research and put it on a large scale?
Thank you very much, Sammy. And please, we would also want to wait for the others to also share, then we can respond. So as to be specific, I know on the call there are a couple of researchers that have some innovations that they are working on that could benefit their end users. And so maybe you may want to use this platform to articulate what you're working on and to have some guidance or experts advice on what you would want to do. And so in no particular order, at least I know Dr. Andrew, also Ansan, and also Dr. Inyamoni are working on some innovations regarding this glaucoma. And so maybe you may want to shed some light on it, how you intend to extend the impact of this innovation.
Okay, Nicholas Afram, your hand is up.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. I think just a follow-up on the question that was asked by the last person. I think the drive is to the knowledge translation and also probably commercialization. So my question is, in bridging the gap between research leading into innovation or in leading it to creating a project or something that is relevant to the impact of the research. Is there any systems or leveraging how ensuring collaborative issues with companies, probably companies that might not have a research and development department, and maybe some of the research are really relevant to the industry. How is the institution leveraging on in terms of getting fundings for research?
Well noted.
Yeah, thank you.
So Doc, you may want to respond to this round of questions, and then I will go for another round of questions.
All right, thank you so much. So the first one, I want to respond to the question by Samuel and the fact that I think it's from the School of Agriculture that they have no funding, no support. And how can the government be in the known of what they are doing? It's quite similar to what Nicholas Afram also asked, whether there is any system of ensuring collaboration with institutions. So I'll try to answer these two questions. So this is it. No, during my presentation, I did mention the fact that when you come to UPSA, for instance, most of our students get the opportunity to have internship with companies. And this is a real opportunity to me. But you see, while you are there working with a company or with any institution you have been attached to for some few weeks, try as much as possible to identify a problem over that institution. And after you've identified a problem, you should also be able to recommend or to make some suggestions on what can be done to solve that. But you could also, these are your suggestions, may be able to be informed by research. So you may have a research proposal, okay, to the company. So then you can, based on the management system over there, and say, okay, we are going to the HR, you are going to the manager or whoever based on their governance system. You share this idea with them. And as of course, your proposal will come out with some budget. And you let them know the rationale for why you are doing it. There should be a justification for what you are doing, for why you want to do that. And of course, that because they are the knowledge users. When you are done, the finding, it serves as knowledge. They are the users, right? Now, at our level in academia, you from agriculture, you cited an example. Okay, I mean, in the area of agri, they have corporate unions, they do join. There are some even financial institutions that even support these individuals. So these are because they will be the knowledge users of what you intend to do. And these are the institutions you would have to contact right from the go. Share with them. Definitely, they are going to listen to you. What you have to get is to get buy a time with them, share with them your research proposal, what you intend to do. This is the budget for it, and as such, you are seeking their support. For instance, you are seeking their support. When done with the studies, they are going to be the beneficiaries of these studies. So this is, I believe, this is one of the innovative ways, okay, that we can ensure that our knowledge we are getting from this research is being put into policy and practice. And you get their idea right from the onset. You see, when we assume that whenever we are done with our study, you publish. And so because of that, these institutions or even government should have a say about it, then I'm sorry, we are not really, as I indicated at Twitter, we are not embracing integrative knowledge translation. In that community you are conducting the study, there is a member of parliament there. You can get to know, buy into his idea. There are a lot of institutions there. You can move to them, get to these individuals. Okay, this is what you want to do. Some government institutions, they must know what you intend to do with your rationale, with your proposals and all that. You share it with them right from the onset. Right. And then is there any system of ensuring collaborate? Yes. And so these are the systems we should now look out for. Other than that, the unfortunate thing is we're going to have studies conducted and without even from the onset engaging with our knowledge users, they might not read our findings. So the solution may be somewhere, but we've not connected it to these knowledge users. And that tends to be a big problem we're going to face if we really want to translate our knowledge, if we want to translate our research findings into policy and practice. So engage, move out, engage them, those within your geographical locations, those who are interested in what you do, engage this individual to solicit for funds. There are other means as well. I mean, there are some donor agencies like those who give out grants and all that. They are also there. But what of the local knowledge users? Get to them, go to them with your thoughts, with your ideas, with your rationale for these studies. So that is what I will say about this. Other members from UPSA could also come in to provide their thoughts on this. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Eboa. So just to respond to the question by this Mary Jane JC from the Ghana Population Council on areas for sponsorship on research. So what basically we do at the Ghana Research and Industrial Collaborative, which is hosted by Impact Invest in Ghana, is basically to bridge the gap between research and industry. And so areas where we have the relevant expertise in there, and then there is a gap, industry, be it businesses, SMEs, policymakers, the donor community have an interest that, okay, there is a research area gap that we need to work on, then based on expertise or based on the members that we have, then we form a consortium to respond to that. So constantly, our interest is to be able to identify the gaps that will require there's a collaboration to help solve. And so I know currently GIZ has an upcoming call, and they will be sharing those areas of interest with us. So once we receive those calls from our partner institutions, we also try to find within our network researchers that have that expertise, or even in industry professionals with expertise, so that we could work hand in hand to address those gaps. And it's not only to do the research, but ultimately this research helps to improve this policy making and also policy implementation. And then there are aspects that would also come in terms of commercialization, where we are also mindful that research that has potential for commercialization, we find ways and means at the onset to protect the interest of the researcher. And so given the platforms that we have, one is the GRIC Industry Brief Session, where if you have this relevant research outputs and innovations, we work with you to translate that into industry-friendly format. And based on the sector of interest or the industry focus, we invite them to listen to your work. And once they've expressed interest, then we also facilitate those engagements. And I know some businesses or SMEs have expressed interest that they would want to move into the next level, where instead of hiring, let's say, quality assurance supervisors or people to come in, and later they would want to have a sort of retainership with a consultant who could work with them. So these are the opportunities that at times we receive, and then we throw in the call. And so people that have that expertise. So ours is that we want to be intentional in ways where we are leveraging the insights that puts innovations of researchers or academia to solve the needs of industry, and also in the industry also providing the fair share of financing and also providing other funding opportunities for those in academia to support. So Mary, we will be excited to know the areas that you would want to work on, and would explore within our network. All right.
Okay, thank you.
So the team from the UPSA, if there's any that you'd also want to share with us. Other than that, we are 60 minutes to time, so we may want to move on, Doc, and then later we can follow up with the questions.
All right. Thank you so much. So from here, what are the lessons we've learned? That moving research to practice is an iterative process of using external evidence and producing local evidence for planning. Very important. Okay, you need to use all these individuals, and then successful implementation requires the alliances between researchers and knowledge users, those who are going to use our findings. And then if we want to ensure a successful implementation of the outcome of our studies, then we need to build on a strategic alliance with the knowledge users. Then next slide. And so two things. There are roles of we, the researchers, as well as roles of the knowledge users. So for us, as researchers, we need to create and facilitate strategic alliance. How do we get to these knowledge users is very important, and it's great with what Julius you shared with us in terms of the strategic alliances that you are building with other knowledge users. And then as a researcher, you need to bring the science of synthesis to practice. It is our great responsibility as researchers that what we are finding out, the findings, let's do everything possible to ensure that these findings are being practicalized, they are being put into policy. and improving research to practice. The role of the knowledge users is also to identify the problem. Of course, the researcher can help do that, and then engage researchers in developing the research questions. So it could be an organization, there is a problem. How do we solve this problem? The researcher too is there to help do that. And then we create and facilitate strategic alliance and solutions, focus, collaboration. And by so doing, we mean that we are applying the findings that we derive. So I'll end this presentation with a quote from Leonardo da Vinci, who says that I've been impressed with the urgency of doing. Knowing is not enough. We must apply. And being willing to is not enough. We must do. Thank you so much. There are some resources that we can get to. I know at the end, we are going to share this with you all, and it will be of great benefit to us. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for your time this morning. Thank you.
All right.
So Julius, thank you, and over to you.
Sorry, okay, so there was a question in the chat. It says, how do you deal with conflict of interest in knowledge translation between professionals and business? So you may want to speak to that.
But can he provide context to that conflict of interest? Like how? Can he provide further context to that?
Yes, please, I can provide. For example, in the production of poultry, where we have the business of those who import and those who have found out that, oh, this problem can be solved where we can, do a local production in different areas, employ people, and then large scale it. But because the business people are employing, they sabotage the whole production chain, whether it is rice production or all that, and make it look as though Ghana cannot produce on a large scale. So how do you solve this kind of challenges between the business people and the professionals who know that the thing is possible?
Well, okay. So this is more of, I see more also of policy as well as stakeholder engagement. Okay. For this to happen, there are certain key stakeholders that needs to be engaged. And all these stakeholders needs to come together for that engagement in order for peace to prevail, or in order for, the right thing, should be done. And so it calls for engagement, okay? Because I know it's a matter of policy. By it being a matter of policy, you need these business people coming together with the policymakers, all of them coming together, sitting together, having a tete-a-tete discussion on how best to go about this. This is what I can say about it. Audrey, your hand is up. You can talk.
Hello.
Yeah.
Audrey, I graduated from KNUST this year, and I want to make a clarification. I want to seek clarification actually. From the conversation that we've had, it seems there's no central body that takes up research findings and engages stakeholder institutions for uptake into industries. So it's looking to me, this question is actually directed to GRIC or Julius. It's looking to me that that's what GRIC is interested in doing. So as someone who just completed undergraduate studies with a final year project that is looking to be taken up into a specific industry. From the presentation that we had, the first steps are to do knowledge translation and then make sure that the findings are in a format where stakeholder agencies can understand and then take up. So does it mean the next steps are to find out such agencies and then go to them directly as an individual? Is there no central body that accepts these findings? Because if there's no way to screen such findings, it means anybody anywhere can just get a proposal and then find a director in some institution and then presents their findings, hoping to get a collaboration. So I want to clarify if there's a centralized agency that takes such an initiative, or the researcher has to take the initiative themselves.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Audrey, for your question. So let me respond, but in responding, since we are about 7 minutes to time, I will respectfully ask that we share our feedback on this presentation so that helps us to know your needs better, and then also to just a follow-up. So on the question of if there is a central place to screen research and also orchestrate, I would say we operate in this free market, and so businesses and policymakers have their own needs, and as and when they have those needs, they engage the stakeholders. What we are doing at GRIC is to be able to provide more of a structured approach where we are providing opportunity for researchers and industry professionals with relevant research outputs and innovations to share them with key stakeholders. But that would imply that your scientific approach or your research methodology has to be rigorous. And so for us, before we even go to the step of giving you the platform to share your research findings, we in-house will go through your research methodology just to be sure that they are sound, and then also they are ethical, if you recall from the presentation by Dr. Yeboah. And then in there, we try to facilitate those engagements. So one, there's the onus on the researcher to do the right thing. And then second, also to explore collaborative opportunities, which will include with the universities or with the business associations. But in there also, you need to be mindful that your innovations that you are coming up with are protected. And the foremost thing is to know whether what you are coming up with this hasn't been done, so that you don't waste much time in coming up with an innovation which has already been patented, which you've already done in Ghana. And in most cases, at best, what you can benefit would be the tech transfer. So this is what I'll share, but we can continue the conversation since we are about 5 minutes on time. And so, Dr. Yeboah, if you have anything to add to what I just shared regarding
Julius.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so in this case, you can also suggest a topic for us, right? Since maybe the topic that we bring has already been done, you can also suggest that we do this topic.
Okay, so I think this will be a great thing. So let's capture that in your feedback, and then we can take it up from there.
Feed forwarding, okay.
Feed forwarding, exactly.
Yes,
Feed forwarding,
yes.
feed forwarding. Thanks so much. Thanks for drawing my mind to that terminology.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so we are collecting your feedback. It's very important, and also in the feedback would help us to follow up on your specific requests. And so this is not just the ordinary feedback where you share and then it ends there. And so especially if you are working on any project that you need assistance, this is the place where you can share with us, and then our team would be following up. So for us at GRIC, it's not just only providing the platform, but then also for us to make that impact. then also celebrate those impacts that we are making. And it is these work that we do that then draws the development partners to wanting to collaborate with you. That, okay, after this workshop, this X number of students or industry professionals have been able to move their research from level A to level B. And so are there any gaps that they are facing? If yes, how do we work? And so even in this project or in this learning workshop, we can have a whole project that comes out of it. And so would appreciate if you can share your feedback with us. So let me do the check and see how many we have so far. So we know that we have a sizable people responding. Okay. So currently we have how many? We only have one person responding. So I will entreat that we do our best to share. We only have one. Let's try and get at least 20 people responding. Or even those that are on the call. So if we can have about 30 people responding. And so please, let's get the feedback coming. Let's get the feedback coming respectfully. Show us to help appreciate Dr. Diabo and his team for the work that they have done, and also to follow up on your areas of interest. So we still have one. We still only have one feedback. If we can push harder. So Audrey, you can share your feedback with us. I see Amma on the call. So Amma, kindly share your feedback with us. I see Samuel, AJ on the call. We will appreciate you sharing your feedback with us. And also same for, hello.
Oh yeah, I'm saying we are sharing it, so almost complete.
Okay. All right, sure. Then I see Samuel Abenzu. I'm also on the call. Kindly share your feedback with us. We would really appreciate it. And then I see Seth Kote also on the call. So Seth, respectfully, we ask that you share your feedback with us, which helps us to be able to make case to continue providing this learning workshop at zero cost to the research and industry stakeholders. I see Albert also on the call. Frida Sefa, kindly share your work with us. You shared with us that you are done with your PhD, and so if there are other areas you want to explore, please kindly do so via the feedback. I see Bennett also on the call. I see Josephine Brown from the Impact Investing Ghana team. I see Albert Chala. Nice to reconnect. Albert, would appreciate your feedback. Currently, we have three. Please, let's push further. We have John Kennedy Apeja on the call. So, John, respectfully, will ask that you share your feedback with us. I also see Hilda Apia. Hilda Apia, please, if you're on the call, kindly share with us. We also have a positive feedback from Kweku also says this is a good platform connecting academia and industry is key. And I hope that the learning this morning and the readiness of GRIC to support the dissemination of findings and innovations will be great. The dream should be kept alive. Thank you. And so Kweku would ask that you share that in the feedback form. I see William Kluche on the call. So William, please share your feedback with us. Respectfully, I would ask if you can give us 5 minutes so we are able to complete our feedback. This is very important to the success of the learning workshops going forward. Then I see Kojo So could you kindly share your feedback with us? We would appreciate it. Then I see Andrew Owusu Ansa. I'm also on the call. We appreciate you. So we have five at the moment. I'm sure by the next 3 minutes, the numbers would increase and then we could bring the meeting to a close. Sorry, we have to extend it by 5 minutes. I also see Francis Soto Akucha. Please share your feedback with us. Then I see Marilyn. So Marilyn, if you are there, kindly share your feedback with us. We would appreciate it. And I see Diane. So Diane, if you're also there, share your feedback with us. I see Mausi Gbemavo. Please share your feedback with us. Share your feedback with us. I see John. This is John Kennedy also sharing that this is an eye-opening session for me. I am grateful for the learning workshop. It will help me design good research projects in the near future. So we would want to see what happens next. So after this call, we will be reaching out to you what you've been able to do with this insight. And so just stay tuned to that. I see Aram Ahaji on the call. So Aram, respectfully, we ask that you share your feedback with us. So far, we have about six completing. And so those that have mentioned your name, I know you're on the form right now. So please complete. I also see Lenap on the call. So please share your feedback with us. We also see Yaka Jacob Adoye. Please share your feedback with us. It is very important we capture these thoughtful messages so that we are able to communicate the progress. So I see Atatichi Donko Esquire. So Ata, kindly share your feedback with us and we would appreciate it. I also see Rosie Akwe. Kindly share your feedback with us. I also see Dorothy Xiao. And so respectfully, we would appreciate if you can share your feedback with us. Then also Richard Kojo Monkson, kindly share your feedback with us. And also the team from iOS, I would appreciate you also sharing your feedback. I see Sesime Amaluchu, kindly share your feedback with us. So we have 11 out of the 33 on the call. So please, those that are on the call, respectfully, I would ask that you complete for us. You complete for us. So whilst you are doing that, I just want to say a very big thank you for this making time for this learning workshop. We are excited that you join us and then you found the presentation insightful. What we'll do next is that based on the feedback that we have, we would be reaching out to you, one with the presentation material, and then also the resources that have been provided so that you are able to make use of them. And if there are any challenges that you have, we would help you connect with the right experts to help you. And then also to share that we have our GRIC in industry brief sessions that we organize monthly. And so these are highly curated sessions that, based on the sector or industry focus of the research, we bring these stakeholders in here to listen to your research work, by which we would have helped you to translate them in an industry-friendly format. And in there, if there are expressions of interest, we help facilitate those connections, and then also potential this financing thereof. If the work is not patented, but then would require transfer of those insights, we also see how we can help you in that regard. And then the other thing also is that we have functional subcommittees that we meet quarterly to discuss issues that matter within the research and industry space. And so you may want to join the Ghana Research and Industry Collaborative. I'll share the link for you to join. And then also to bear in mind that in November, we'll be having our annual year forum, which actually climaxes the activities that we do. And so you do not want to miss. And so on that note, I've taken 2 minutes of your time. Sorry about that. We currently have 12. And so we would want to, those that join on the call, we will be reaching out to you after this meeting so that you are able to share your feedback with us. It is very important that we are able to demonstrate impact after this learning workshop. So far, we have about 14 people completing. And so please, if you are done with your feedback, respectfully, you can exit the platform or you can exit. And I just want to say a very big thank you to Dr. Isaac Yaboa and his team for the excellent presentation. If you have any questions, any queries, any support that you may need, kindly share that with us via the feedback form, and then we will be reaching out to you with the experts involved. So I thank you very much for your time and have a fruitful day. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye. And so those that are completing the form would appreciate that you do. So.
Okay. Bye. Bye. Thank you very much.
Bye. So we have 14.